I think the biggest challenge in my situation where I have a coaching business next to my full-time job is giving it enough time and attention and making sure that the time and attention that you put in it, that is very effective, right? That it's not going to waste. So I think if I would have just my coaching business, then maybe I don't need to be as pragmatic with my time because I have like a whole day to work on my job, which is my coaching business.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to 7 and 8 figures without burning out. Before Purple Circle, I started and scaled several 7 and 8 figure career coaching businesses myself and consulted with 2 career coaching businesses that are now doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or just building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Hey everyone, welcome again to another episode of Career Coaching Secrets podcast. Today, my guest is Marieke Burghoorn, a certified professional coach, senior project manager at BPI with 6 years plus in organizational transformation. Marieke blends strategic consulting with deep expertise in performance, adult learning, and well-being. Cambridge psychology grad and founder of the Co-Creation Club. She coaches clients worldwide while traveling as a digital nomad. Her mission is to help leaders translate strategy into real impact with heart and clarity. Welcome to the show, Marieke.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Marieke, tell me a little bit more about what inspired you to become a professional coach.
Yes, as you already said, my background is in psychology. Did that during my undergrad and graduate studies. And I really enjoyed it, like diving into the human mind, into the psyche, how do people work, why do they behave the way they do. And then after my graduate studies, I went into business sector consulting, moved away a little bit from this close connection to humans and the way that they behave. So when I was working for a couple of years, I felt this desire to go back to those roots and rekindle kind of that connection to the single individual in front of me. And that's why I initiated this kind of extra separate life path where I wanted to become a coach. I did my certification with IPAC, and then now I coach on the side, but also in my full-time job as project manager.
And so it's been almost 3 years right now that you've started your side private coaching business. How does it look like, the journey from the moment that you started it to where you are at today?
I would say I started quite obsessed and now I'm quite relaxed. I think starting something of your own for the very first time is very exciting. Literally going to be your own baby where you can put all your energy and creative ideas into. And that's a little bit how I saw my coaching business as well. So I spent a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to be called and who my target audience should be. And I just came out of the certification program. I got my coaching certification and I was ready to kind of start applying it. So there was a lot of energy there, a lot of great ideas and a lot of time and effort and energy that went into it. Whereas now taken more of a backdrop in my life. I still do coaching. I still have my own clients. I still do coaching also in my full-time consulting job, but I feel more relaxed about it all now. It doesn't get the time and any energy that it got in the beginning.
And in the intro, I also mentioned that, and I took that from your LinkedIn about page, that you are also a digital nomad. Is that like something you're still doing, or is that something you were doing at a certain point? Are you like traveling and working at the same time?
Yes, yeah, I am traveling and working at the same time. I'm actually currently in Sao Paulo as we speak in Brazil. Normally I'm based in London, UK. Yeah, I've been traveling now since last August. So that's almost 9 months or so up to this point. And it's really just a pilot for myself, for the company that I work for, to see if this is something that they want to offer to other employees as well. I really wanted to do this for myself. And that's why I built kind of a business case to make it happen for me. And luckily the leadership team in my company agreed to it. So that's where we're now. So yeah, I'm still working the whole week, 5 days a week, and then taking off in the weekend to explore the place where I'm in at that moment.
Nice. That's nice because I'm also kind of doing a similar thing. That's why I wanted to ask. I'm currently in Bali and have been traveling around Southeast Asia for a while, and until I come back home. It's been nice, and it's nice to see at least coaches that I interviewed do the same thing. I wanted to ask you, when it comes to the people that you coach, what kind of target are you usually after? Is there a specific group, a specific industry or demographic? And what is the type of transformation you help them achieve?
It's an interesting question. You can approach it from many different angles if you like. So I think there's the type of clients that I coach because they want to be coached by me. And then there's the type of clients that I would love to coach and I actively seek out to coach. It's not always one and the same. So on the one hand, I coach people as part of my consulting job. These are often middle managers or executives that just would like to have some support, or kind of someone who listens to their challenges and things with them, thought partners with them for job objectives, right? For things that they do in their jobs on a day-to-day basis. And then there are my clients from my own business, and these are quite diverse also. So here we have people who are in their 40s wanting to become a manager and don't know how, or they're students who haven't even graduated yet and are considering what kind of career they want in life. Then there are first-time moms who want to start their own business and they don't know what they're most passionate about or what kind of business they should start. So it's really a wide array of, and I would say that after now coaching for 3 years or so, the individuals that I'm most excited to coach are the ones with kind of the bold ideas and who like to pivot to a different direction in life or in their career. Where there's kind of a blank slate and we can throw around ideas and look at values and look at personal interests and motivators and see, okay, what's the best fit for that? That's to me the most exciting because it's new and you can ideate a lot. But actually working on career plans and making it a little bit more detail oriented, like looking at timelines and next steps to take, that can also be quite interesting. So there's this split there between what I'm offered in terms of clients and what I look out for in terms of clients.
Thanks so much for sharing it. And we talked a little bit about this earlier when it comes to the strategy for finding new clients. And you mentioned you're not currently actively trying to look for them. And some of them are coming from, just like you mentioned, from your job. But when it comes to the ones that come directly to you through your own private coaching, through Founder and the Creation Club, how would they find you organically?
So I think that the one thing that I did in the very beginning of starting my own business, I put my profile and my name and my website and all these things on like as many platforms as you can think of. It's like, okay, at least I've done that. And then I'm not expecting anything to come through those channels, but if they find me and if they see me and it resonates, then I'm here. Okay. So, and to my surprise, quite a lot of people find me through those routes. So that's nice to know. But then I would say the majority of my clients either find me through referrals. So like someone told them I was a coach or they're friends of friends or something like this. Some also through networking events where I say I'm a coach and then they're interested because it's just the right time for them to engage with a coach. So it's not like I'm there to find clients, but it's more that it works for them in that time and I'm happy to have them. And then lastly, I think this group is also quite large. It's the group who I met on an event that I was interested to go to because it's a topic that I find interesting or want to discuss with other people, or I meet them at like meditation retreat and it's just something that I'm there for myself and I am just who I am without there being a coach. And then I talk to them about my life, what I do. I talk about them that I'm a coach, not with the intention to sell, but more to just share something about me. And you see that sometimes that resonates with people and then they follow up with you later and say, hey, I remember that you were a coach. Actually, there's something that I want to, I've been thinking about to engage a coach recently. Would you want to have a session with me? Right. So, and that's usually how it goes. I would say also many of my clients are repeat clients. So they keep coming back. So there's also then no need necessarily for me to keep finding new clients.
Are they all British clients, like from like local, or are they also worldwide?
No, they're, I would say, mostly worldwide. Some British, but even the people in London that I meet in London are often international. professionals. So they're not
I
necessarily
see.
British. Yeah.
Cool. Wanted to ask you for the future, when it comes to your coaching, your private coaching business, do you have any goals that you're working towards in the next 1 to 3 years?
So I'm working towards the PCC kind of credential from the ICF one can attain after X amount of hours and of coaching and training hours. So I'm working slowly towards that. No rush, no deadline. But I think it's just nice to kind of have a goal, right? Have a milestone for yourself. Otherwise, nothing happens in that part of life. So that's something that I set myself, and I'm steadily working towards that. Initially, I was also thinking that that would then help with getting more coaching or coaches or more coaching clients. I'm not sure it does help, but so far, like I said, receiving these clients rather organically. And so, and even without an ICF PCC credential, that works. Maybe I don't necessarily need it to obtain more clients, but that's been the goal so far.
And what would you say has been the best investment or resource that's been valuable for you in growing your coaching business so far? And I think probably likely the certification or the ICF that you're doing right now could be like one of the biggest investments, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the certification, definitely. Like, I think that the certification that I've done, which was about a year in duration, is quite intensive. I think that was a necessary investment. I personally wouldn't feel comfortable coaching with someone who doesn't have a certification, or who has a certification that was kind of a 2 week, 5 week crash course. Like, I think their coaching skills, and I see it in myself, I see it in people around me, really need time to mature. And even after 3 years now, there's so much more that I can still improve to become a better coach. So that definitely, I think that's the biggest resource and requirement, if you like, to it helped with my business. It also helps if you want to, of course, get clients. You can say that you have certification. Another research, which is maybe not so easy to get or so obvious, is maybe my consulting background. Just like working for, in my case, big companies, clients in the strategy and operations field, building, like training your skills in problem solving, developing solutions for them, even PowerPoint slides, right? These kind of things, a certain kind of professional business skills that you develop in that field, has helped a lot with my own coaching business. I know how to write a proposal. I know how to work with billable hours. I know how to kind of be client oriented, be need driven, not because I have an idea that, that would be best for this client that I'm doing that. No, it needs to be most valuable to them, right? So it's this mindset, it's a couple of these skills that have been super, super useful. And I don't know, if that's something that anyone else can get easily, consulting skills, but for me, it has been a lot of help. Yeah.
Is there something you wish you had known first when you started your coaching business? Was like an unexpected lesson learned?
I think that will probably fall under the like tax, doing your admin part of the business. I think actually in the UK it's quite well organized. The government websites are pretty clear actually if you take a moment to look at it. But just the whole routine that you have to get into of doing your own bookkeeping and making sure that you got your invoices all lined up, that is something that's, of course, I knew was gonna come. I wasn't necessarily particularly excited for it, but then also doing it, kind of another thing. And there was some, it took some time and hurdles to get over to do that right.
What would you say are some of the biggest challenges you're facing right now as a coach either with your own coaching business that's private, or even with the clients that you get from the full-time job?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the biggest challenge in my situation, where I have a coaching business next to my full-time job, is giving it enough time and attention, and making sure that the time and attention that you put in it, that is very effective, right? That it's not going to waste. So I think if I would have just my coaching business, then maybe I don't need to be as pragmatic with my time, because I have like a whole day to work on my job, which is my coaching business. But if you just have a couple of hours here and there, you want to make sure that the time you put in is actually paying off or there's a return to that. And sometimes it's a little bit tough to know what that is then going to be, that activity. Is it going to be to market yourself through the social media channels or other channels? Is it to spend more time on trying to get your existing clients to do longer journeys, even though that might definitely not be something that they're interested in or needing? So then you have to find other strategies to maybe get your hours in to get more clients. Yeah, I would say that the time and the return on the time that you put in to know how you can do that most effectively, that's the challenge.
Yeah, totally agree. And what advice, is there any advice you'd like to give to other coaches who are at your current level trying to finish the hours, also maybe have a full-time job? What advice would you give to them when they're looking to, in the future, scale their impact?
Maybe 2 quick takeaways there is, one, look at your own situation. I think in the beginning, I was exposed to a lot of people who did their coaching business as their sole business, and they charged prices and made certain hours and spend a lot of time on marketing and social media that I couldn't do because it just wasn't my situation. And I felt that maybe I wasn't doing enough, right? Or I wasn't doing it well enough. Only when I stopped paying attention to that and okay, no, but what do I really want? Do I really want my own coaching business and only that? No, I want to continue working in the job that I have, and I want to keep working in a team, because in a coaching business, it can become quite lonely sometimes to just be there by yourself doing your own thing. So yeah, tip number 1, consider your own situation and that alone. Try not to be distracted by what other people do. And I think the second tip is more about kind of clients and finding them, if that's something that you're focused on. For me, in the first 2 years, I barely did lead generation. I wasn't really focused on marketing. I wasn't really focused on having strategies in place to get more clients because I was doing my full-time job. And magically they came and I didn't really do much. And I was constantly wondering, how did this happen? And for me, myself, the takeaway is, as long as I do something that I'm passionate about and I kind of emit that to others and I talk about coaching in a way that I find exciting because it is exciting to me, then people will be drawn to that. And then you'll only coach the people who want to be coached by you. But of course, that comes from a place of not needing to pay the bills with your coaching business, right? Because if that's your situation, then maybe that tip is not so helpful. I also recognize that. But for my situation, that tip has really been paying off.
Thank you so much, Marieke. And for anyone who wants to find you or connect with you in the future, they can find you on your LinkedIn, Marieke Burghoorn in LinkedIn, and they can also find you on your website, which is the business, so the Co-Creation Club. Let me confirm the website URL. Which was it?
The URL itself is thecocreationclub.com. No hyphens, no nothing. So thecocreationclub.com.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Marieke. Well, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast, and yeah, thank you for taking the time to come and share with us your learnings so far.
Thank you so much for having me, and yeah, it's really really nice to reflect on my own story as well. So thanks again.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This conversation was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to 7 and 8 figures without burning out. To learn more about Purple Circle, our community, and how we can help you grow your business, visit joinpurplecircle.com.